Hello readers, I am back once again, this time to wrap up the dumpster fire that was 2020, but was actually a really good year for me as a reader. And it was a great year for me for a couple of reasons. I think the most salient of which being I have had and will continue to have the opportunity to read for a book award, and that's my cat knocking my stuff over and making an appearance. And that has been, and I'm sure will continue to be, an amazing experience. That said, I wanted to count down my top 10. I can't even tell you how many I read this year. My Goodreads does not accurately reflect my reading life anymore. But I suppose just let's get started with number 10. So number 10 is How to Build a Heart by Maria Palian. And it is about a girl who has the opportunity to build a house for Habitat for Humanity for her family, but there's also a lot of shame around this, and she doesn't want her peers to know about it, and then when secrets come out, things get a little tense. Number 9 is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I know there are people who will come for me because it's at number 9 and not higher on my list, but it's on my list. So this one is about two girls who don't find out they're sisters until after their father dies. And again, tense. Novel and verse also. Number 8 is Burn by Patrick Ness. There are dragons, and there is, in true Patrick Ness style, a twist that you're just not prepared for, and it's awesome. Yeah, awesome. Number 7 is Punching the Air. Another one that is tense and will just like wrap your heart up, about a guy who's in jail, and is really about, you know, that balance between like humanity and monstrosity, and how monstrosity can be imposed upon us and we internalize it, and it's beautiful. Number 6 is the only adult book on my list, and it is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. It's a love letter to New York City and about what people will do to defend the city and its boroughs from malevolent outside influences. As a side note about that one, it's one that I have read and then listened to several times. I think it's my only major reread for the whole of 2020. So number 5, which I no longer have a copy of because I mailed it to my friend, is The Bridge by Bill Konigsberg. A couple of really cool things this year. I was also on a committee that awards the Bill Konigsberg Award, so being able to read his book this year and, you know, be on this email thread with him about something completely different, totally cool. But The Bridge is 4 stories that are tied together. It's 2 kids who meet at the George Washington Bridge unintentionally. They're both intending to commit suicide. And it's 4 different vignettes with the same situation, as it could play out 4 different ways. So good. So good. And if you read it, read the author's note at the beginning. Or it might be at the end. I had an advanced reader's copy. Number 4 is the only nonfiction text on my list, and it is Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi. And if you haven't read Stamped from the beginning, which is Kendi's work, and it is like 500 some odd pages, but you want to, and you want something that's a little more accessible, this is it. Jason reads the audiobook, and it is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I've recommended this to probably just about everybody this year. So number 3 is Pet, which I've talked about before, and I think my November wrap-up about how I love allegory and how it's an amazing allegory, and it's about monsters and what it means to be monstrous and how we define monstrosity, and so in that way it kind of connects with Punching the Air, which was earlier on my list. So good. Like, there's so many things about this book that I'm still thinking about, and I read it like 2 months ago. So number 2 is one that I loved so much that I gave it away. Now, I mean, it's in the same box as The Bridge, actually, sent to the same friend. And let me put it this way. I had the opportunity to sit and talk with Marco Shiro this year, and effing amazing. Now, Each of Us a Desert really lends itself nicely to a queer reading, or queer in the sense, well, both in the sense of LGBTQ+, but also in the sense of, you know, it's this allegorical thing, and you can read it as more than it is, and yes, absolutely yes. And I will have to get another copy because I need it in my shelf and in my life, and oh wait, I have a digital copy. Oh shoot, I have a Kindle copy of this. Durr. So if you, for the cover, not the color cover, but the cover, this is Each of Us a Desert. I was waiting for the publisher to send me a copy because when you interview authors, the publishers send you copies of their books first. And I got impatient, and so I bought it on Kindle first. Anyway, that's my number 2. And finally, I don't think I am going to read a better book this year, even though there are maybe 2 days left. And this one I finished yesterday. Y'all, I was sleeping. I've had this since, like, August. I was sleeping. So good. So good. Ray Bearer by Jordan Ifuiko. Like, no lie, hands down, it is fantasy. Look, so the thing that I liked about this book is that every time I thought I had a handle on the story, she pulled the freaking rug out from under me, and it was amazing. And at one point, I was sitting at the table, and Tracy was sitting on the other side of the table, and I swear it was like being in a movie with the theater full of black folk as much as I was yelling at this book. If that tells you anything. Number 1, hands down. And I can't wait for the sequel. So, what did you read this year that you thought was amazing, that you're still thinking about? Leave it in the comments, and I'll see you there soon. Until then, I'm the Supplier wishing you happy reading. Don't forget to be awesome.